Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Today we are going to be talking about Gujarat Titans versus Rajasthan Royals. Oh, that was some game for Gujarat Titans. They'll be much happy after this performance for sure. It was Gujarat Titans who batted first and they scored 192. All thanks to their skipper Hardik Pandya, now who is the second leading run scorer in the IPL with that blazing knock. And in return, Rajasthan Royals fell short by 37 runs. They would consider as a huge margin. But Josh Butler got going and he played an immaculate knock, but then it needed something special to get him out as well. All thanks to the Lockie Ferguson's one of the best balls of this tournament so far to get him out. I have Jones and Nikhil joining me to talk about it. Jones, I'll get to you first up. Uh, Jones, now Rajasthan Royals, the two games, you've seen the last game as well. They were 62 for 4 last game. Even today, they were 60 odd for 4. Do you reckon that they are falling short? They're relying too much on their Sanju Samson and also on Josh Butler going ahead?
I don't think batting is their issue this year. If you look at, they have Hetmeyer who has been consistently performing. Then Sanju Samson did well in few matches. Then Josh Butler is the orange cap holder. So three batters are almost clicking in each and every game for the side in top five. That makes them special. The issue that today the issue was their bowling, especially they were missing Trent Bolt and their strength is new ball wickets. If they are getting that new ball wickets, then it will be easing out the pressure of Ashwin plus UZ, and it will be helping these two spinners to over perform or overdone the opposition, because you can't expect them to do well in death overs. Prasidh Krishna is not a great death bowler. Trent Bolt is not a great death bowler, or if they are going to play Jimmy Neesham or Darren Mitchell, etc., they are not great death bowlers. So
Right.
they need to close down the match till the 16th over. So that is where the importance of new ball wickets will be coming. So today, even though they got two wickets, but the partnership of Abhinav Manohar and Hardik Pandya took the game away. Then coming to the batting, they started so well. If you look at if they had few wickets in hand, if Hetmeyer wasn't taking Shamit too much into that, if he could have stayed few more overs, maybe they could have won the match as well. Like
Yeah.
they had around five overs 60 something. It
Right.
was reachable for Hetmeyer, especially on current form, and they had the batting depth as well. I think Jimmy Neesham was batting at number 8 today. So
Right.
that has the batting depth as well. So I think they slightly missed out the trick, but the issue for Rajasthan Royals always will be if they are not getting too much wickets in power play. If they are not breaking the game down in the 4-6 overs, then they might be in big trouble moving forward as well. Unless they play Obed McCoy, etc. I don't expect that to happen. They should have played today, Obed McCoy, because Bolt was not available. Obed McCoy was a better choice. But once Bolt is returning, it will be tough for them to play Obed McCoy, because the form of Riyan Parag is not that great. So you can't have Riyan Parag number 6 who hasn't performed, and number 7 Devichandran Ashwin. It will be
Right.
big gamble, and that will be putting lots of pressure on the top five as well. You can't expect Hetmeyer to save you every day. He will be
Right.
having more bad days as well moving to the tournament. So they need to work out that new ball spell. They need to get at least 2 or 3 wickets and break the match, and it will be helping UZ and Ashwin to come into the picture as well.
Right. No, you did speak about Obed McCoy as well. Nikhil, missing out on Bolt for any team is a huge blow because that's the kind of impact this lad brings into any team. You reckon today, as Jones rightly mentioned about Obed McCoy, they should have gone ahead with him because Jimmy Neesham offers you very little with the ball. And in the first over where he balled, he went for 12 runs. And from there on, he never gained the momentum. And if you look at his IPL strike rate, he just strikes at 92 in IPL. You reckon that Obed McCoy should have been a better option today, especially?
Yeah, I think if they were looking for a like-to-like replacement for new ball wickets, then definitely Obed McCoy was a better option. Uh, Remains to be seen whether they wanted a batting depth bit kind of an option as well with Jimmy Neesham. And to be honest, they got that as well. As Jones rightly said, despite losing those early wickets because of Josh Butler's knock, they were always in the game. They just needed a couple of good partnerships. I think Rasi also has been a bit hasn't taken off just yet. So I think that is also
Right.
a spot where they want him to come good. He's a very good guy, but it takes time for people to come into the IPL and just clicking. So I think that was one of their concerns. And I mean, the moment Jimmy Neesham got the ball, Simon Dool on the air was right. I hope they're not expecting too much from him with the ball because his numbers aren't that great. So it
Right.
was an honest admission, and it also told you that they are going very defensive in the way that they opted to bowl with Jimmy
Right.
Neesham first. I thought they could have started with Prasidh Krishna, get those, and they eventually got Gill and Wade cheaply, but could have been better. And as John said, it's the new ball wickets. They need to. Every team will look to close the game out in the power play, taking 2 to 3 wickets at least.
Right. Right. Jones, coming to you now. Now let's talk about Rajasthan's batting as well. Very little surprised that they sent Ravichandran Ashwin this time at number 3. Last time and he was promoted up to number 6. Who knows? Next match he would be opening the batting, I feel. What did you make of that move, Jones?
It was really surprising. I didn't expect that to happen. Even Sanju Samson didn't give a clear answer as well. He just told that our batting is flexible. Anyone can play at any order, etc. But I don't know what was the reason. Maybe they might be thinking to face Loki Ferguson and not to give that wickets of main batters. So Ashwin might be handling Loki really well, and he can handle the spin as well. Like he played the way he played Ashwin, and he played Rashid Khan as well. So that might be the reason. Other than that, I can't find any reason. Especially last match, he was retired out as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they went with that. But they have been doing this stuff as well. Like ideally, if they should have promoted and given opportunity to Riyan Parag. That is the
Right.
one thing they failed to do in last 2 3 seasons as well. Like
Right.
if you look at the way he plays for Assam at number 3, number 4. So
Right.
coming as a finisher in a stage like IPL at this age, it won't be ideal. So if they are looking for this kind of promoting Ashwin etc. at number 3, they can try Riyan Parag at number 3. That might because he has the experience. He playing at the top order, especially if you look at the Assam squad, it's literally Riyan Parag, then few others, then little nothing for them. Riyan Parag has been performing so well in tough situations, etc. So that would have been one choice they should have done if they would have been liking these Ashwin moves, etc. So I really hope Riyan Parag gets few more opportunities. It is really tough. Playing at number 6 is not easy. Even though
Right.
people might say Ayush Badoni is performing, few others are performing, etc. That can happen in few 3 or 4 matches. It won't be possible to do in 10 games from 14 group games, etc. There will
Absolutely.
be lots of failures. Even maybe 90% of games there will be failures. Maybe there might be near 2 or 3 games. You can't
Right.
expect these players to perform more as well. So I think if they are looking for a guy to promote at number 3, especially their strategy before the auction was Jaiswal, then Butler, they were at number 3. So maybe they might need an extra cushion because they Sanju at number 5, Hetmyer at
Right.
number 5. Sanju at number 4 and Hetmyer at number 5. So that might be the reason. So there will be lots of, but Sanju didn't told anything in the post-match presentation.
Right. Neil, coming to you, I have two questions here. Number one, before the start of the IPL, they had a clear plan that Devdutt Padikkal will be batting at number 3 or number 4. But all of a sudden, you're putting him at the top of the order. And Jaiswal, who they actually retained as was dropped. Possible reason could be that he was not striking the ball even at the nets. Secondly, talking about Riyan Parag, as he rightly mentioned about number 6, where his batting is a very tough position for him. And he has done well at number 4. Even Sangakkara, after the last match, came in the press conference saying that I had a tactical miscalculation by not sending Riyad Parag at number 4 in the Lucknow game. So you reckon that going ahead, at least to prove this guy, back this guy, Riyan Parag, he should be batting at number 3 or number 4 if a situation like this arises? And number 2, should they bring back Jaiswal instead of Rassi Vandadusan? Because he's not done well in the last 2 games. Because we know that Rassi Vandadusan has a potential, but Jaiswal hasn't done anything wrong either.
Uh, in my honest opinion, I feel Rajasthan have too many options to bat in top 3. And I think that is one of the concerns. It was one of the concerns when they picked Devdutt, Butler, and Jaiswal in the way they did because Samson also loves to bat at 3. So, in that sense, I feel they'll still be flexible. I don't think Jaiswal is probably looking in the late shape, which is why they dropped him after a few games. So, I think they'll probably stick with Devdutt and Butler up top. I do feel if there is an early wicket, they should send in Rassi Vandadusan. I think he's way too experienced and he can, if they want somebody like him to, I think that is his best use. Coming into the middle overs when the decks are going to slow down and things will not be easy. I think that is when you probably want somebody who's more accustomed to such conditions, so you can use Parag there. So
Right.
it should be more of a situational kind of a role where you want somebody to hit pace bowling, then you probably send a Rasif Anderson to hold an end up for you while accelerating, and then you use resources from the other. Because I think Hetman's form is very critical, and I don't think they should be having Hetman batting in the first innings in every game. It cannot continue to happen. That he's also he's also playing a key role. It's not always that he'll come good. So you want to
Right.
give him that assurance as well that no, we are not wanting to do the same thing every game. Something that is happening with Surya Kumar Yadav. That every time Mumbai is losing runs, he is the one who's taking them to some kind of safety. So you cannot keep expecting middle order players to continue to do well while the top order guys continue to rest. So I think they'll use them accordingly. And yes, I do hope Parag gets Rian gets enough games with enough time in the middle, because you're going to come in with 1 or 2 overs to spare. You're not going to gain anything out of it. So
Right.
as John said, probably an entry point of say a 10 to 11 overs where you can get in, set himself, and then you also have something like a Hetman to follow. That will give him a lot of confidence that
Right.
I can play my shots. You still have Hetman to follow, and that gives you a different kind of backing.
Now coming to Gujarat Titans for sure. Let's talk about the skipper Hardik Pandya, because this season he really wants to prove a point. He's taken all the responsibility up, batting in number four, opening the bowling, and even on the field. He looks like always in the game, talking to the fielders, talking to the ballers, encouraging them. Now I'm pretty sure almost 1 billion people would have had their hearts in the mouth when Hardik Pandya pulled up today. Jones, coming to you, what did you make of his knock, and how do you rate his season so far?
I think he has been literally an MVP in this IPL. If he's continuing, he'll be winning the award as well. Like no one will be coming close. Especially he's bowling 4 overs in a match. Like in the first 4 games, he bowled 4 overs each. Apart from one game, he went for 37 something. He was decent in most of the matches as well. And he has been bowling with the new ball, which is
Right.
giving extra cushion for them. Like they can use Loki plus Rashid in that 7 to 15 phase. That
Right.
is helping Gujarat a lot, and it will be really hard for our opposition team, especially during that phase. Mostly these inexperienced Indian players will be batting
Right.
on one end as well. So facing Rashid plus Loki, that is putting lots of pressure as well. So it is giving that extra cushion for Gujarat, and especially before the season, everyone was expecting Gujarat is missing one big gun player in that number three, number four, number five spot. But
Yeah.
right now, no one expected Hardik to take that number four spot. So that is where Gujarat has been really kindful to Hardik as well, like taking that number four spot.
Right.
It is helping the team as well. But still, I do believe they should be improving their batting. It's too much dependent on Hardik and Gill. If Gill is
Right.
going out early, then it is putting extra pressure on Hardik, because even though there is Abhinav Manohar or David Miller or Vijay Shankar, etc., or even
Right.
Tiwati as well. You can't expect these guys to do well, because even though Miller is a big name, but he hasn't done that great in IPL in recent
Right.
times as well. So
Right.
I do believe they should have played Sai Sudarshan at number three. That is the one choice they should have made. Especially, it was really unfortunate to him as well. After just playing 2 matches, he
Right.
was dropped from the side. Sai Sudarshan deserves few games as well, especially the way he played in TNPL. I think he was highest run getter in that tournament. He was scoring consistently as well. Then they can make few changes, like they have option like Gurbas can open instead of Matthew Wade. Like Matthew Wade is not going through that dream phase which he used to be for Hobart, etc. So they can try out Gurbas, or even they can send David Miller as an opener and try out Matthew Wade as a finisher as well. So they have got options. They have got different options. But I still believe that they should be moving. Don't give that too much headache for Hardik plus Gill. It won't be ideal into the playoff stage, or go into the final rounds of this group stage, etc.
I know we have a question up there as well. Nikhil, coming to you on Vijay Shankar's inclusion, right? He was ruled out initially because of a back strain. And if you talk about Vijay Shankar's form in the recent past, it's not been good at all. There'll be in any form of the game. Do you reckon that he deserves another chance, going ahead, or can they bring in someone like Ridhiman Saha, or should they go in with someone like a Sai Sudarshan who has done decently well in that position, as he's got an opportunity a couple of times?
So it's a tricky call to take when you're taking somebody like Vijay Shankar, who's not a who's a big name now. He's been part of India's World Cup squad. So when you take somebody like him and you play him, if he's not fit, you got somebody else, and the moment he goes fit, he's back in the side. So that is fair to him. But the time is definitely running out for Vijay Shankar to put in a good show. We saw what's happening with Manish Pandey as well. He started in
Right.
first few games, but the moment he's not performing as per the expectations, he's been dropped out of the side. So I'm
Right.
sure that conversation will happen with Vijay. That he because he's somebody who can also chip in and over with the ball. It could be a reason that they want him in the side, but maybe three is not the position for him because there you need somebody to ease the pressure on Gill and Hardik. As
Yeah.
Jones rightly said, there is just too much pressure on those two, and you could try any youngster that you want because it's better to try a young one and invest in the future for a long term.
Right.
Something like a Sai Sudarshan. Even Abhinav Manohar, I feel, is a very good guy to try out at three if you want him. He showed today that he has the game to pace an inning very well. So they have options because there's also a question of Wade up top. So can they make all these wholesale changes suddenly? I don't think so. They'll probably go one at a time. Like we may say Gurbaz in the next game, and then we see Vijay getting out if he's not doing enough. So I do think he'll get a few more games, as he should, as anyone who's playing in the first. If you're in the first 11, you are possibly considered as the best possible option. So I think you need
Right.
to, as Jones once said, you have to back your plan A, back it enough time so that you don't have any regret that maybe I should have given a few more games. You rather
Right.
give them more games than giving them less ones.
Absolutely. Jones, coming to you. Now Matthew Wade again today. He looked good as he batted for the last 5 to 6 balls, and in the first over he scored 12 runs. Unfortunately, he of course got run out. Do you reckon that now it's time for Gurbaz, that young left-hander who's striking almost close to 115 T20 cricket, to get that nod ahead?
Uh, it's a real tricky question, especially Gujarat has been winning. If they have lost this match, maybe they should have tried Gurbaz. But ideally, they are top of the table. They have won 4 games out of 5 matches. So I think they might be giving at least 2 more games to Matthew Wade and look for another choice because they are already sitting at the top. If they were at the number 5 position or number 6, it would have been a different story.
Absolutely.
But right now, I think they might go with that same playing because almost they have settled core. Their bowling is almost settled the way yes they have bowled. Even though he went for first few overs etc., but he's bringing that left arm right in that attack.
Right.
Even they can try out Sai Kishore as well.
Right.
Once pitches really dries out after the 8 or 9 games, they can try out Sai Kishore as well. With Sai, Rashid, and Loki in that middle phase, it will be really hard for any opposition as well because you have a left arm, right arm pace, then you have a spinner, you have a left arm spin as well. So other than that, I don't see too many changes with coming to Matthew Wade. I think they might be giving at least 2 more games and look for Gurbaz as
Right. Right. Jones, I'll get to you another question which everybody wants to talk about. Would you consider Hardik Pandya in your T20 World Cup squad? It's a question which everybody wants to know as well.
I think even for this IPL as well, like if it Hardik Pandya just walk into the Indian playing 11, I don't think any other. Because if you look at if there was, if you, I will say a story as well. Like 2 years ago, there was that incident, no, KL Rahul and Hardik Pandya, and if you look at once that ban was over, KL Rahul went to play Ranji Trophy, India A, etc. Then he scored runs, then he came back. But Hardik Pandya was directly included in Indian playing 11. He didn't play the Ranji Trophy match. He didn't play in India A match. He was directly drafted into the Indian team. So
Absolutely.
that gives the value of Hardik Pandya. You can't replace like Hardik Pandya, Virat, Rohit, Boomer. These 4 guys, I think that is one of the reasons why they are getting A plus contract as well.
Right. And you're slowly seeing a leader who's growing in Hardik Pandya as well. Indian fans, they have a lot of potential for a 4D player in him. Nikhil, coming to you, what did you make of that young lad, young left arm? We know we always get excited when we see those fast bowlers. Last time around it was Kuldeep Sen, and this time it was just there. Though he went for runs initially, he was bowling those hard lengths and he was rushing the batsman more often than not. There is something about this kid, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the one thing that has happened with the 10-team IPL is it's given these youngsters a lot of key roles, which we will not be able to see if it was just an 8-team IPL. So I think in that sense, good to see new talent come through. And we have read a lot, seen very less, but read a lot about Yash Dayal. So a good first game for him. Poor lad ran into a red hot Josh Butler in his very first over, but very glad that he could pick up Devdutt Padikkal. And even when he came back to bowl, he was still trying to find his right length, and he got that
Right.
more often than not. So I wouldn't say it was a day first over to forget, but it was a good day for him because his team
Right.
won, so he'll be happy and relaxed, and he also managed to take crucial wickets. So
Right.
that is something it's very important because he came back to bowl with the older ball and got the ball to grip and go away as well. So I think
Yeah.
when we saw he got Rasi out caught behind. So I think those are good signs. I mean, if you have Darshan Nalkhande coming in, striking, and then having ready, I think that is what Gujarat is doing well so far. That they don't have a lot of superstars, but they are finding these young players in the right roles and getting them good games, so that everybody is ready. If anybody has a chance, they have somebody. Because remember, they are yet to play Sai Kishore, and I cannot wait to see Sai Kishore come in and bowl in the middle overs because it will be fun. Have Rashid, Ferguson, Sai Kishore. It's going to be crazy.
I know you really want Sai Kishore to get a nod ahead as well
Yeah.
because he's been lighting up the domestic cricket for far too long, and I think he's almost on the cusp of getting the Indian call up as well because that's how good he has been. If you have been following the domestic cricket, now talking about that and talking about players, let's get to the fantasy segment of the day. Uh, let's see how did the fantasy segment go today. Who were the top points getters? It was Hardik Pandya. It was a no-brainer. Lockie Ferguson, Josh Butler, Yash Dayal, he makes the cut, and Abhinav Manohar.
Yes.
Jones, I'll get to you first up. You finally start the fantasy.
I
A bit.
haven't played.
Have you started the fantasy, or are you still skeptical about that your players are not doing well?
No, I haven't started.
He
I
needs
think
the course first. He needs the fantasy course first.
yes,
So,
absolutely, he'll need that course. Nikhil, coming to you. How did
yeah.
your day go on the fantasy idea out?
Awesome. Very good. Hardik Pandya was my captain. And I did bang on Abhinav Manohar to come good with the bat. And he did that. So I had a great day. Yes, my vice captain did not take any wicket on Rashid Khan. But I do think a good day is not too far from him. But overall, out of those five guys, I had four of them. So everything went really smooth. Very disappointed with the few runouts that we had today. Two key guys, Matthew Wade and Sanju Samson. I just feel runout is the worst possible way to get out in a T20 game. They should just ban people from taking risky singles, not just because of fantasy, but even game wise. It's just not worth the risk that you are getting. Trying to get out for a 4 or 6 is still understandable, but for a risky single, that too against an easy over. So it's just, yeah, that rant aside, yeah, overall a very good day.
Definitely. Talking about, risk and
Yeah.
reward. Of course, Nikhil is taking a course on how do you actually balance the both, take risk and also get highest reward. Nikhil, handing over to you to talk about the course you're doing with Mad About Sports.
Yes, so as rightly mentioned, it is a course about how to be in profit in fantasy cricket. And the crux of it is you have to find ways that work for you. There are a lot of people who play fantasy cricket but end up losing a lot of money because they don't think about it much. So the course helps you understand that there are certain things that you need to keep in mind. There are certain tricks that work with each format. So you need to keep those in mind that you want to take death bowlers in T20, probably take wicket keepers if they're batting in middle overs in Test cricket because they'll give you catches point, and if there's collapse, they can give you a run. So there are various things that are very important in each format of the game, and that is something that I've tried to focus on in the course to ensure that people find what's good for them, find the right games, find the right platform, find the right contest, so that we get something back. Because when we win, it's easy, everybody's happy, but it's when we lose, then when we start to lose our mind. So the point is to ensure we don't lose much. We have more lemonade kind of days and not baby days.
Absolutely. Now, talking about that, gentlemen, Boomer 11 is that one platform where you get a free hit. Who doesn't love a free hit? You are getting a free opportunity to earn rewards and make the most out of it. And that's why Boomer 11, this IPL, is going to give you prizes worth up to $5,000. So, all what you have to do is download the app, make your 11, and test your fantasy skills out there for absolute free of cost. And talking about fantasy predictions, get onto our Instagram app right now and Instagram page and follow it. because we'll be giving fantasy predictions, sports memes, and everything related to sports out there. And of course, subscribe our YouTube channel because we'll be coming up with some exciting content through the course of IPL. We'll be having Jones, Nikhil, Sandeepani, everybody, and do stay tuned. We'll be also doing some giveaways in the coming days, so do not miss out on any of these. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining. It was a wonderful opportunity to discuss with you on this game because it was a great game of cricket, of course, at the end of the day.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, guys. Have a good
Thank
time.
you.
Happy winnings.
Good night.